Hari Om. Let us close our eyes and do the opening prayers. Om. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. Welcome everybody. We will continue with the Dhyana Sloka. So we did the first word Vishveshwaraya yesterday. So today we will do the Mahadevaya. But before we do that, let's chant it for one more time. Om Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Triyambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikalagnikalaya Kalagnirudraya Neelakanthaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. So today we will talk about Mahadev. A lot of you are familiar with the word Mahadev because there's a TV serial, Devon Ke Dev Mahadev. So it's a very popular name, Mahadev. We also call Mahadev Shambho, we say. So what does Mahadev mean? Mahadev means he is the Supreme Lord. There is none other than him. Also called Anishwara or Maheshwara. So that is the great word as a great God or God of gods. The Devatas are the supreme deities. When we say Mahadev, we say he's the God of the Devatas. So Devatas are the presiding deities of the universe. They are like the phenomenon forces that regulate the functioning of our body, mind, and intelligence and the nature. They are subservient. They are under the Supreme Lord. And they are more like ministers with different portfolios in the government. And their position is not permanent. If you do a lot of punya, and when you go to heaven, you can get one of those positions of devatas. So the consciousness, when we talk about consciousness, Om or Paramatma or the Atma, is Nirguna Nirakara. Nirguna is without any qualities, and Nirakara is without form and shape. It's the most subtle of everything. And the Vedas say that there is no control or Ishvara. We say Ishvara, controller of that Supreme Lord. The Lord is the Lord of the whole universe. He's the prime reason why we exist and everything else exists. And like I said yesterday, he's the causeless cause. So in this world, when we live in this world, we seek these powerful leaders. If we have a powerful, connected friend, we are very happy. We feel secure. But the real security, actual security comes when we take refuge, when we bow, or when we surrender at the feet of the Supreme Lord. He is the most compassionate, most kind, and most loving God. There is a bhajan, it says, O Palanhare Nirgun Avanare. Palanhare is the one who takes care of us. And Nirguna means all our bad qualities, he disregards our bad qualities. And when we surrender to that God, we become fearless because we know we give everything to you, O Lord. You take care of me. And that gives you this feeling of fearlessness. Whatever happens, happens. So when we operate from that strength in our mind, we can overcome all our challenges, our difficulties, our problems in life. But when we human beings, we forget the Lord. We don't remember him, especially in good times when we are successful in life. We forget. We think we have done this, we have worked hard, we have gained everything. We forget the Lord. We remember him only when we are in distress. So when we forget the Lord, we run towards the mortal beings, to someone who is in a higher position. But we have to remember that these are mortal, these are finite beings, and they themselves depend on somebody else. So Bhagavad Gita says that the Lord is in the heart of all, and we should be taking refuge in that Lord, and who is sitting right inside us. So generally, what happens is we act and then we surrender to God. When we know a little bit of spirituality, we do that. We act and then we say, oh Lord, this is for you. But Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda says that a real devotee will surrender first to God and then he will do the action. And then he will see the result, the glory of the manifestation of the God as the result. So once there was a devotee who was very sick and bedridden. And Gurudev went to see him. So when Gurudev went to see him, he cried to Gurudev. And he says, Gurudev, look at my condition, he says. My life is so wasted. I'm so sad that all these people are taking care of me. I don't want to be dependent on them. I don't want to be a burden to them, but I'm helpless. What can I do? I'm laying in this bed. The Lord has put me in a very terrible condition. Gurudev said, the Lord knows everything. You don't worry. Maybe these people who are surrounding you and taking care of you have this in their prarabdha, and they are settling their karmic accounts. So you just surrender to the Lord, live in the remembrance of the Lord, and Bhagwan will take care of everything. So when we give all our problems to the Lord, we become unburdened, and then we live stress-free, hopefully, as much as we can. So to that Saguna Mahadeva, we bow down. This Saguna form of the absolute truth are the trinities that we generally pray to, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, we say. So in the scriptures, there are stories of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva says he's very devoted to Lord Vishnu. And then there are stories where Lord Vishnu reveres Lord Shiva. So there is a form called Harihara. Hari is Lord Vishnu, Hara is Lord Shiva. So Harihara is half and half. In the Puranas, in the Ramayana, in the Mahabharata, there are many stories where Lord Shiva is the Ishta Devata of Lord Vishnu, and in some cases, Lord Vishnu is the Ishta Devata of Lord Shiva. So they both are not two separate entities, but one entity, the Saguna form of the Brahman, the Nirgun Nirakara Brahman. So in Brahma Puran, there is an incident where Lord Vishnu one day was sitting in Vaikuntha with Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, and he said, Lord Shiva is the greatest supreme Lord. When Mother Lakshmi heard this, she said, I regret, I didn't know that. I regret that I haven't prayed to Lord Shiva at all. And I am so sorry that I didn't know about this thing. So Lord Vishnu said, don't regret, the past is past. And from then onwards, Mother Lakshmi started praying to Lord Shiva. In another story, Lord Shiva said to Mother Parvati that Lord Vishnu is the dearest to me. He's more dear to me than my own body. And when she heard this, she was like offended. She said, I thought I was the one you loved the most. So Mother Parvati got upset and she started criticizing Lord Shiva. And she criticized everything about Lord Shiva, from the top of his head to the vibhuti on his skin. And when she was criticizing so much, she said, how can I expect a person like you to love me if you are in that condition? And at that time, Lord Vishnu manifested in front of them in Kailash. And he said that if it was somebody else other than Mother Parvati, I would have punished that person. I don't even want to hear any criticism of Lord Shiva. And he took out his Sudarshan Chakra and he said, I'm going to not hear anymore. And he wanted to cut off his head. At that point, Lord Shiva pacified him. He says, no. He consoled him. And he said, everything is fine. Don't worry. Mother is upset and it will not happen again. And he sent him back to Vaikuntha. Mother Parvati was like very upset, and she was very upset, and the whole incident bothered her a lot. And then she realized, she said to Lord Shiva, how can I become dear to you? And Lord Shiva said, I constantly remember Lord Vishnu and I do his archana constantly in my mind. You can also start doing that and you will be dear to me and dear to him. So these are small stories that bring out the worship of both Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva in us. Now, we have heard stories many times of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, but today I'm going to tell you a small story of Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva. Once when Lord Shiva was on Mount Kailash, he was doing meditation. He heard the sweet vibration of the flute of Lord Krishna. And he was mesmerized and he went into samadhi. He followed the transcendental sound until he came to Vrindavan, where Lord Gopinath, Lord Krishna, was getting ready to do the Maharasa, the Leela with the gopis. So desiring intensely to join the Maharasa, he came to the entrance of the Rasa Sthala, the place where they were going to do the Ras. He was stopped by Yogamaya, who told him, no males are allowed to go inside the Rasa Sthala. Only Krishna is allowed to go. So he said, first you must be a gopi rupa. You can take that form, become a gopi, and only then you can enter. Now, Bholenath, Lord Shiva, he said, how can I have a gopi rupa? So Yogamaya said, you can take a dip in the water of the Manasarovar at Vrindavan. And after bathing in that, Lord Shiva did that, and Lord Shiva emerged from the lake as a beautiful gopi. Then Yogamaya took him into the Rasasthala, and they waited in the corner. And Lord Shiva stood there and prayed to Lord Krishna to get that prem bhakti for Lord Krishna. Then the Ras started, and Krishna danced with all the gopis, and he started, he did a dance with Lord Shiva too, and disguised as a gopi. And after some time, when they rested, Lord Krishna said, I'm getting this unusual, I'm not getting this usual pleasure that I get usually having this rasa. Something is not right. I think there is a man in our midst. And he asked Lalita Devi to check all the gopis and make sure that there is no man lurking there. And Lalita Devi did that. And she said, there is no man in among all the gopis, but I found a gopi with 3 eyes. And Lord Krishna told her to bring that gopi there. And when that gopi came there, Lord Krishna laughed heartily and he said, Oh Gopishwara, I am very pleased to see you in the form of gopi. But you know, the rasa is not for the grahasthas, for the householders. Therefore, you say you have already fulfilled your desire as a gopi and did rasa with us, but I give you my blessings and I will make you a rasa dwarapala of this rasa sthala. And I respect you, and all the gopis will respect you from now onwards, and they will have this gopi bhava when they respect you and pray to you when they enter the gopi rasa sthala. So till today, in Vrindavan, they say that there is gopi swara in the Vrindavan temple, and the bhava is still there in that area where they play the ras till today. So Lord and gopis worship Lord Shiva in Vrindavan, and this was how Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva's story takes place.